Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Well. It's either, depending on what league we're talking about, it's either game week or the week before game week. And I have a question for you. Who's your quarterback? Do you know what is it they say? It's midnight. Do you know where your quarterback is? Well, let's switch it up. Not where, but who. Do you know who your quarterback is? Welcome into the show. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Look, man, I'm talking about in the college game, but in the pro game, there's all kinds of quarterback stuff popping up all over the place. People getting cut. I'm sitting here watching highlights of Mack Jones a minute ago. Did y'all realize that what happened in New England today? Have you seen this? Now, it's not a rhetorical question. Some of y'all are going, how could I miss it? As a sports fan, I'm sure it's all you're hearing about. You're getting hit upside the head with this news. The fact that in the league where they play for pay, the New England Patriots, better known as the beloved Pats, the fighting Belichicks, have cut Cam Newton. Yeah, they sure did. As my man on that movie said, what in the wide world of sports is going on here? I mean, come on, man. Y'all cut Cam? What? Yeah, so the Patriots cut Cam Newton, released him, cut him. I mean, what's the difference? He ain't with them anymore. And Mack Jones. Mack Jones out of Alabama, the rookie out of Alabama, is the quarterback for your New England Patriots.
In America is a special game, a unique game, played nowhere else on earth. It is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
All right, y'all can be a part of the show, and I hope you will be. Comment on the live stream. Hey to y'all. Everybody on the live stream is dropping comments over there, one after the other. Sven said hi. He said, I hope Ida is history in Mississippi, and you are all safe, and he gave us a hail state. Danny said, it's game week. Roshana, tip of the cap to you. Hope it's a great day. Sven says, my quarterbacks are Will Rogers and Dak Prescott. And Will pointing it out, Patriots quarterback Mack Jones. Whew. They're going with a rookie. So, yeah, they cut him. Mack Jones, a rookie first rounder out of Alabama, is your starting quarterback for Bill Belichick's Patriots. And guess what? Guess who they play in week 1? Have you looked ahead at the schedule? Yeah. The Patriots open against the Dolphins. It's an in division. AFC, what are they? East? AFC East division matchup. It's Mack Jones versus Tua in week 1. What? I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And let me let y'all in on something. The Dolphins are going to wax the Patriots in that first ball game. Go ahead and get ready for that and run tell them I told you. Tua and the Dolphins are going to put a whooping on Mack's Patriots in that first ball game. Just go on and get ready for it. Also, you can text me on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN or 885-3776, 885-3776. Shoot me a text. I'll see it here on the Country Pleasing text line. I got a question here right out of the chutes, a football question. Unnamed texter said, Matt, which receiver Do you think we'll have a surprise season with a lot of catches this year for Mississippi State? Oh, man. I think I know the answer to that. Mm-hmm. And surprise being the word, okay, so if we're circling that word, we got to make sure it's a surprise. Okay, so if I were to tell you, let's see, Jaden Walley is going to lead State in catches or have a great year, well, that wouldn't be a surprise. He's your leading returning receiver from last year, right? If I were to tell you that Mackay Polk, the transfer from Cal, is going to be, as far as outside receivers go, guys lining up outside, is going to be the surprise. Well, not really, because he's the guy everybody's been talking about throughout fall camp, and we kind of know he's the starter, has been. He's kind of been their best outside, right? I wouldn't necessarily classify that as a surprise. Here's what I think is going to be the surprise. Is Tulu Griffin playing the other outside receiver position, and the depth chart for Mississippi State came out yesterday. The school released it. And at the X receiver position, which, it's just one of those outsides. The X position, it's listed as 1 and 2, Malik Heath with Tulu Griffin as his backup. Well, Tulu's been out of camp. He missed some time in camp, but he's getting healthy now, ready to go for the first game. Listen, Tulu is going to be a guy that teams are going to have a really hard time playing bump man-to-man coverage against on the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him some respect. He is a guy, too, that even if you're not up in his grill, he will get behind you and take off. And so I think I'm going with Tulu Griffin. Now, it could be Jameer Calvin, who transferred in from Washington State, played for Mike Leach and Dave Nickel in that offense. Same coaching staff, same calls, same offense and everything for 2 years at Washington State in 2017 and 18. Is that right? Right, because he missed the 2019 season. Then last year, with the new coaching staff at Washington State, in a really short, abbreviated season, they played him at outside receiver. So he transfers in and has earned the starting position at that A spot, the slot position opposite of Jaden Walley and Austin Williams. So it could be Jameer Calvin. Would be a surprise. There's not a lot of people talking about him, but I appreciate your question. I'm going to go, for now, with Tulu, who last year he wore number 81, and so this year he'll be wearing number 5. Yeah, he's got his jersey number will be number 5. True Maroon said he texted and said, breaking news: the Patriots have also cut Mac Jones and signed Bishop Sycamore's quarterback. Man, that story, I told y'all about that yesterday, right? And it was just starting to take off. Can you believe it? You believe that? And again, you go, well, who's at fault? There's a lot of fault out there. Yeah, I will tell you the group of people in that Bishop Sycamore story who's not at fault, and that's the players, okay? You go, yeah, well, they know, some of them know they shouldn't be there. They're too old. Well, okay, but they're playing football. They're young people. They're whatever. They're getting a chance to play football. They're not at fault. They're kind of being sold up the river by they're sold a bill of goods here by somebody that's just misleading them, it looks like, and leaving a trail of unpaid bills. That's the coach of this organization. So he's at fault for lying. He's just a liar. That's what he is. He's a con man. Okay, but let me tell you something. ESPN, via this marketing group who sets all this stuff up for them, it is a bad, bad look to get duped by that con man, because all it took was a click or two of a computer mouse to figure some of that out and throw the brakes on it. And nobody did it. I mean, you got a crook involved in this whole thing. That's the coach of this team. And it's made up school. He's a crook. All right. He's a liar. But outside of him, you talking about looking goofy in all this. ESPN and this marketing group that put that on. Golly. It's terrible. CWR, he says, Matt, what movie is that theme music from? It's great. Now, it's not the stuff I was playing is the old NFL Films movies and stuff. I don't think it's from a movie, but it's from the NFL film stuff they would do. Yeah, that's so. And if you were to look that up, like get on YouTube and look up NFL films music, you would see there's all these different soundtracks from different eras, and a lot of it's created by the same people, and they really have a knack for sort of, laying that track underneath those NFL films highlights. And you go back in the good old days, the stuff I played you from back in the 70s and 80s, and it really is classic. So that's what that is. Landon texted the show, Country Please and Text, 885 ESPN, and then I'm coming to the phone line. Landon said, Matt, do you think Sawyer, that'd be Sawyer Robertson, would have an opportunity to get on the field for MSU if Will struggles, or will Chance and Jack likely be the options? That's from Landon. Well, I'll just give you my 2 cents. It's just observational. Understand that I'm not asking questions like this of the coaching staff and then reporting it back to you. I'm just giving you my observations on it. It does not look like Jack Abraham's going to be able to get into the mix because of whatever issue he's got going on. He's not been out there. Okay, so I just don't think he's in the mix at all. It looks to me, when the depth chart came out yesterday, Landon, they didn't have it listed as Will Rogers 1 and Chance Levertich 2. They had it or. They had Will Rogers or Chance Levertich. So, given that you're thin on experience at the position, thin on experience, I would think that whoever's the third guy, whether it's Sawyer Robertson or Daniel Greek, that young freshman is going to have a hard time getting on the field. Because one is, if Will's not out there for some reason, like if he gets banged up or something or doesn't play well, they're putting Chance Levertich in the game. He'll get those snaps. You'd have to have a situation where you got a sure enough stinker of a blowout and you're up by 35 points, I think, to get out into the end of the game where those freshmen could get in and get snaps and do it within 4 games so that they can preserve a red shirt. That's my thoughts on it. All right, head over to the phone line, Davini Equipment phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer, Lynn, on line 1. What's up, Lynn?
How about it, Matt?
Hey,
Got
man.
a question for you, and you don't really know the answer, but I'm going to run it by you.
All right.
I heard on the 2 dates that they had Wally and Williams as an and/or behind on the same side. And we don't really swap sides with receivers much, do we? We kind of like, if you're on the left, you're on the left. If you're on the right, you're on the right. Is that right?
No, that's not necessarily true. They will line them up just about anywhere, depending on the formation. Yeah, and
Okay.
depending on what they're doing. Yeah, they'll put them all over the place.
But the reason I asked, because the other slot receiver, he was kind of by himself, I believe, if I was right, and I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But,
well,
I was just wondering
real
if
quick,
they had them on the same side.
Lynn, let me tell you what I think on it real quick, and I may be cutting your question off. Here's the way I see it, all right? They have, instead of a split end, a slot receiver, a wide receiver, and a tight end, which is your typical stuff, in this offense, in their personnel, the tight end is replaced with another receiver position, if that makes any sense, okay? I'll give you an example. I said A earlier, it's H, okay? So if you were to look at letters, typically in the history of football, the tight end position was denoted in all of your diagrams and playbooks and everything with the letter Y. For whatever reason, the tight end was the letter Y. So the Y receiver has always been the tight end. And the Z, like if you're doing the alphabet, X, Y, Z, Y and Z are always next to each other. So the split end, which is on the same side and kind of always goes with the tight end. You got a tight end and you got a split end. That'd be Y and Z. They would always stay on the same side. Does that make any sense? Okay.
Yes.
So in this offense, then the Y position is technically what is in place of your tight ends. And the true, quote-unquote, slot receiver is on the other side in the slot, and they use the letter H for that, almost like H-back or whatever. And then over there is the wide out, which is the X. X is always on the opposite side of Z. So I know this is all getting confusing, but the reason I'm telling you that is
No, I got it.
Okay, well, the reason I'm telling you all that is when you look at a depth chart like State has, and they list under Y, they list Jaden Walley or Austin Williams. And what a lot of people do is they go, well, how about that? They play the quote-unquote same position. And on the other side is Jameer Calvin, the transfer. He's the starter at H, and Rufus Harvey is his backup, right, out of Starkville. And you go, well, these guys are playing different positions. Here's what you need to understand. They will move those guys all over the place. Those two positions may be listed differently, but they're all running the same stuff at practice. They're all in the same drills. They all on the insiders are all coached by the same guy, Dave Nickel. And so you'll get into a game and you go, okay, we're going to use a lot of 5 wide in this game. In this particular game, I'm just doing an example. We're going to go a lot of 5 wide, empty. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to always have your running back lined up as a receiver? No. It means now 3 of those guys are going to be in the game a lot and rotating in and out. An extreme example, too, would be they have a lot of 2-back formations in this offense where they have both Dylan Johnson and Woody Marks in the ballgame at the same time. Well, if you have that, now who's out? Okay, because either the H position or the Y position is sitting on the sideline when you go 2-backs, one or the other. So I tell you that to say this, Lynn. In an offense that plays so many receivers, in every game they're going to play 8 or 9 guys and rotate them in constantly. I think that fans don't need to really get caught up in who is listed as the starter. It's not like quarterback or left tackle. It's like when they go Austin Williams or Jaden Walley. Well, man, they basically are one and the same. One play they're on the left, one play they're on the right. Sometimes they're out there together. But the depth chart makes us think one's ahead of the other and they only play one position. You really shouldn't look at it that way. And that's just they're going to be mix and match. It'll be potpourri when it's all said and done.
That helps a little bit because I knew Austin had great hands and he was our possession guy, and I didn't know if maybe Wally had kind of got more consistent or if they'd seen something from the other guy. But you made me understand it a little better now, and I had a little bit of bad information on if maybe they flopped sides, and so
my
head, but
I think it's
what you got to say on that.
Yeah, I think what you have to look at that as it's almost like linebackers. I mean, you're going to have like State.
We can play sound.
That's it. That's exactly. So I got you. State's defense is going to use 3 linebackers. You got Sam, Mike, and Will. And you got these guys that are listed at their particular positions. And the best 3 are going to be on the field the most. But are they going to play every snap on defense? Not even close. I mean, you'll see the 4th and the 5th linebacker in there a bunch during the ballgame in key situations. Same thing with receivers.
Gotcha. Okay, man. Yeah. Well, that did help me a little bit because I just wondered if we had someone emerge or something fall back on somebody. And like I said, I think I had some bad information too. Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, I'm going to listen to you, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. As always, Lynn. Thank you. The depth chart stuff it can be very, I don't say misleading. It can be very telling in some cases, but certain positions, you really don't need to get caught up in it. It's like, a lot of times people get caught up in, who's the starting running back? Starting quote-unquote running back, listed as first string. Well, heck, we start the game, he's on the field. We run 2 plays, he comes out. The 3rd play of the game, there's a new running back in there. So it's not like tackle or quarterback or corner, just for that example. So I wouldn't get caught up in depth chart with receivers. If they're on there, they're going to play, and the ball will be thrown at them for sure. Dog Tired in Florence texted the show, 885 ESPN, and says, is there any word on former quarterback Garrett Schrader, how he's doing at Syracuse? I wish he would have stuck around. He said John Rice Plumlee did at Ole Miss. Yeah, Schrader, I have not heard how he's doing at Syracuse, honestly. I thought the kid had big upside. Because of his athleticism, he could really run, was tough, had the right attitude, seemed to like contact to a degree. And, it seems like that it just was not a fit, right? Like there are fits. And, a guy like Schrader can fit in a whole lot of offenses, but especially the ones that are going to allow him to run the ball some. You're going to do some zone read, quarterback running, reading RPO stuff, putting him on the move, and throwing the ball. Well, he really fits in that. But given that he's not from Mississippi, he was from North Carolina, he came to Mississippi State because of his relationship with Joe Moorhead. Coach Moorhead gets fired, he's still there, and the offense and system that comes in doesn't really fit him at all if he wants to play quarterback. And right away they moved him to a receiver, So, yeah, there's a lot of similarities to the John Rice Plumlee situation at Ole Miss, but, Plumlee's a Mississippi guy, right? Like he's from Hattiesburg, grew up here in the state. It's a very different path to get here for a guy like Schrader versus what it was for Plumlee. So that's one thing to note on that. Yeah, Cam got cut. I think the Dolphins are going to win that ball game. I think they're going to put it on them in that first game. But we shall see. I'll update you on the Saints. College quarterback battles are being decided. All of that and more on the show. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi. and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy bird's eye. Better buy bird's eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice.
With playoff caliber sports talk, it's the Matt Wyatt Show. 3 minutes for your life right now. On 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you, rolling along here, hour one on this Tuesday. Yeah, it was MSU dog fan on Twitter sent me, it looks like the Patriots are favored. September 12th be the day of that game, on that Sunday, September 12th. Patriots field goal favorite hosting the Dolphins. Dolphins are going to win. They're going to go up there and it'll be Tua over Mack and let the gnashing of teeth begin. But it's not because Mac Jones isn't good or isn't going to be good. He is. He is good and he's going to be good. It's just the rookie quarterbacks will get chewed up and spit out most of the time. Most of the time.
Book it on that win, right? Book it.
Book it. Did they cut him? Did the Saints cut Ian Book?
No, they're keeping him. They're keeping 3 quarterbacks.
They're going to keep 3.
Yeah.
Oh. More on the whole cut
and he's
situation.
one of them.
He's going to, well, okay, so he made it. Mama, we made it. Well, that's good. Yeah, more on the Saints situation coming up. Going to look at NFL cuts. Let's see, did I write that down? Well, I'm going to get to that. We'll get to it at some point.
Garner got traded to Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, Gardner Minshew got traded up to Philadelphia. I was looking through, all the NFL teams today, by the end of the day today, have to be cut down. Their roster has to be cut down to 53. And a bunch of teams had already begun. And one of the major sites out here is tracking it cut by cut. And, so I'll take a look at those. I was going to kind of let it, because even this time of day around lunch, you'll have more people will get cut, and they'll report some more of those. And so I may pull that list up at some point and look at them. May do that. Joe Mailman texted me, and he said, speaking of Schrader, whatever became of Fitzgerald, he could and should have been an NFL talent. Yeah, he got a shot at a couple of leagues, but not the NFL, and I don't think he's playing right now. Yes, I don't think he's on the team. We're talking about cuts. One of the things, the Detroit Lions cut Jordan Ta'amu at some point here during camp. He's one of their cuts. I don't know if it's today. He might have already been cut, but yeah. So he'll look for another job. He's had a couple of shots, played well when he got a chance outside of the NFL. But anyway, anywho, he's looking for a new spot, trying to make a practice squad somewhere. Hog Jowl texted the show. He says, Matt, the same goes for defensive line as far as depth charts. Any successful SEC team rotates at least 7 or 8 quality defensive linemen to stay fresh. That was Arkansas's problem last year, and the main reason they schemed their defense using 3 down linemen. Yeah, that's true. Hog Jowl, some teams over the years, if they don't have the depth at that position, they're forced to be a 3-4 defense, right? Use more linebackers, safeties, use fewer big guys on the field because you have fewer of them. Therefore, you're rotating fewer in and out. And you're right. 7 or 8. Yeah, I don't know. Particularly teams that choose to be a 3-man front. Like, you look at Zach Arnett's defense, everything he's always coached, which he's doing now. It is because of the modern spread and everybody doing air raid stuff, he's a 3-3-5 defense. He's a nickel defense in terms of his base defense, 3 safeties back there. But it includes a 3-man front, so that's by choice. So maybe you recruit to it a little differently. You probably aren't rotating, as much as 8 guys in and out of those positions. It's probably fewer during the course of a ball game. But you're right, especially for four-man fronts. And so you look at a depth chart, and that's it. You go, you guys that are listed as starters, your best players. And they'll start ball games, and they'll get those meaningful snaps. But, man, you get about 25, 30 snaps into a game, we're rotating people because those big guys get tired. And they need a rest. Mansplain. He sent me a picture, too. He's eating some country pleasing sausage, the maple sausage today. Sunday morning, I had country pleasing maple sausage prepared and cooked by my father-in-law. And it was good. And I put some in a Ziploc bag and ate it on the way home from Vicksburg in the car. Sure did. I don't care. I'll just eat it. PRG said, Ole Miss -10. And what you got? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know that much about Louisville. I would think that you look at experience, look at quarterback, neutral site. I would think that Ole Miss would be able to pull away in that game at some point. I would think, right? And a lot of it's going to depend on their defense. But Ole Miss is experienced. They've got a lot of guys who played football and played snaps for them. They actually have a ton of experience on their offensive line. Now, some of y'all that might be a little more intimate with the information coming out of Ole Miss fall camp might know some other details as far as who's going to start and all. But just looking at it, what was projected to come back as starters on their offensive line, they had a bunch of experience and starts under their belt coming back. So I would think that they would be able to pull away. To me, experience is a big deal, especially on the line of scrimmage, and especially early in the season, until these young guys that you're playing against and around college football start figuring it out. That's just one man's thoughts. That's all it is. Mansplain. Oh, he's the one eating the sausage over there. Ready Teddy texted the show. He said the Saints are going to keep Ian Book so Taysom can resume his old role. That really makes a lot of sense, right? Because you don't take an athlete like Taysom Hill and just stand him on the sideline. No. He's too valuable a weapon. It's just smart on their part. What about how are they going to deal with this whole being displaced deal? Sean Payton, head coach, New Orleans, he did an interview yesterday, and he said that he really just does not see the Saints being able to go back home to New Orleans anytime soon.
Hey, real quick, so just to clarify, you don't anticipate that you guys will be going back to Metairie within the next week's practice?
I don't think so. I think that would be unrealistic. And so I think what's more realistic is once this roster gets reduced, I kind of see these guys Wednesday taking some time away. A lot of these guys will head back to where they're from originally, maybe. And then me on Wednesday telling them, hey, I'll see you guys Sunday night, and here's where we're going to be. And we're going to start practicing on Monday. We just got to fill in that last blank.
Sounds like they're stuck in Texas for a while.
I honestly think in the next 3 days we're going to have a better feel for what our next plan is. Our next step. And we're pretty sure it's not going to be returning to Metairie anytime soon to start practices, at least in the next week. So as soon as we know something, we'll communicate that to you guys, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so and Rosanna says that it was just released that the Saints are going to play in Dallas's stadium in Week 1. Is that right? Because they're practicing out there, aren't they? They're in where? Fort Worth is where they're home away from home, not only to get away from the storm when it came through, but now displaced as everything gets repaired in New Orleans. And right, Dallas opens up on the road on a Thursday night. They don't have a game in Jerry's World. So if that's true, that's really interesting. You'd host Green Bay there. And I would think, how would they handle the tickets for that? I mean, the gate would be the Saints, right? Treat it like a home game. I bet they could fill that place completely full for a Saints home game in the Cowboys Stadium hosting the Green Bay Packers. Let's see if we get an update from Louvier, who's on line 1 of the Davini phone. Louvier, thanks for calling. What's up?
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and go Saints. So thank the Lord that we didn't have too many deaths from this massive hurricane that slammed into Fouchon and Lafitte and Grand Isle and Laplace and Metairie, where I know a lot of people, and some of them have the last name Louvier. Nonetheless, the Saints, there is absolutely zero chance they're playing in the Superdome, and so the bad news of this call is the Black and Gold Express is going to have to be suspended at least until Halloween. And so that is the next possibility for the Black and Gold Express is the Halloween game. But that's not the important part. The displacement of, we have an entire city without electricity, and I don't know if you've ever had a lack of electricity in your neighborhood or in your man cave or in your tool shed. It's an inconvenience, and when it's 90 degrees outside and 110% humidity, and by the way, it just dumped 8 inches of rain, so you do have some steam coming up and the humidity coming down. It's very uncomfortable, and so this show is one of the best shows on the radio, and I've told you this before, and I texted you this. This is a community of people of prayer. So pray for the people of Louisiana.
Will do.
And, and definitely, the Saints are going to play in Dallas, but the Black and Gold Express is not going to roll to Dallas. And so I announced it here first.
Okay.
The Black and Gold Express for the Packers game is suspended indefinitely.
Okay, and we'll wait for an update.
I love your show. Yeah, God bless everybody without power right now.
Absolutely. Louvier, we'll pray for him, and thank you for the call, as always. They're going to play at AT&T Stadium, looks like. More on that. I'm Matt. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com. A couple weeks ago, went in. I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's Virtual Tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants. period, anywhere, BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jello instant pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jello instant pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jello instant pudding, made by the famous Jello folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jello instant pudding.
Back to the guy who loves his banana pudding. It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Back with you in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau. Yeah, so thank you to listener Roshana. She commented on the Facebook live stream while we were talking about the Saints, and this is actually the first that I had seen this. And so I went and looked it up, and there are reports out there that Jerry Jones has confirmed that the Cowboys organization is working out details to host the Packers versus Saints game in Week 1. That would be on September the 12th. Let's see. A guy at 105.3 The Fan out in Dallas says that Jerry Jones told him that they are working on a deal for the New Orleans Saints to host the Green Bay Packers Week 1 of the NFL regular season at AT&T Stadium. The quote here from Stephen Jones: they were able to secure accommodations in the area. He pointed out in the interview, you know, they're out here, so it makes sense because they're there. Cowboys don't have a game there that weekend. They're playing on the road on Thursday in Tampa. So it makes sense. Maybe that works out really well. But I am curious. I mean, it's inconsequential, but I'm just curious about the ticket stuff, how all that works out. But, yeah, I'd be really interested to find that out. But, you know, like Louvier said, there are more important matters in Louisiana at hand other than where the Saints are going to play. And that's for sure. But, you know, overall, it's bad. Okay, it is. It's bad. But overall, don't you just – I just have this feeling of, hey, it could have been worse. You know, that's the way it feels. Well, we continue to wind it down. By that I mean, here we are, just 4 days from Saturday, September the 4th.
100 teams. 100 days.
It's the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. And as we're getting to the top of the list, there's some teams that y'all certainly do know and recognize. This one is from the Big Ten. Yep. Team number 4 in the countdown is Ohio State. The Buckeyes. Ryan Day going into his 4th year as the head coach of those Buckeyes. They went 7-1 last year. 7-1 at Ohio State. Who'd they lose to? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. They've got 6 back on offense, 5 back on defense. That would be starters. Lost to Alabama in that national title game. You remember that one? 52-24. Ooh, boy. That was after waxing Clemson in the Sugar Bowl, and they looked destined to go and challenge Alabama. Didn't happen. All right, so they won all the regular season games: Nebraska, Penn State, Rutgers, Indiana, Michigan State, Northwestern. The biggest challenge they had, it seemed like, was from Indiana, although Penn State gave them a little bit of a run right there. They only scored 22 against Northwestern, but then just rolled Clemson. Looked like who they were. And they're going to start the season in 2 days, this Thursday night at Minnesota. And it'll be a nationally televised game, obviously. So Ohio State opens up this Thursday night. Then next week, it'll start a little home stretch for Ohio State throughout the whole month of September. They will host Oregon on September 11th. They'll host Tulsa on the 18th and then host Akron on the 25th. Jump into back into Big Ten play in October. They've got 4 games across 5 weeks. So the open date for Ohio State is on October 16th, right smack dab in the very middle of the season. Key games for them. And the home stretch now is pretty interesting. If you go to the back end of October, this is the finishing stretch for Ohio State. It's at Indiana, who challenged them last year. Host Penn State, who challenged them a little bit last year. Then in November, they go to Nebraska, host Purdue, host Michigan State, and finish up the season on Thanksgiving at Michigan. And it's a little bit of a look at Ohio State. Famous alums, famous Buckeyes. Who would that be, Bill?
Well, we'll start out with one everybody knows, Jack Nicklaus.
Lord, yeah, that's right. He's from up there.
Yeah, Jesse Owens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went to school there. Patricia Heaton, you might remember her from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yeah.
Kirk Herbstreit.
Mm-hmm.
George Steinbrenner. Didn't know that one, did you?
I did not know Steinbrenner went to Ohio State. It's one of those who to thunk it deals.
Yeah. Woody Hayes, of course, Bobby Knight,
right?
Eddie George, John Havlicek, Archie Griffin, Paul Brown, Chris Carter, Nick Swisher, Jack Buck went to school there.
Okay.
Bo Schembechler, Jerry Lucas, Dwight Yoakam, the honky-tonk man.
What? Went to Ohio State?
Man, yeah. Yeah, he went to Ohio State. Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, Mike Conley plays, I think, basketball there. J.K. Dobbins, Urban Meyer, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, and they got Joe Burrow listed. Did he graduate from there, or did he graduate from LSU?
Well, whether or not he graduated, I don't know. I mean, he initially signed there out of high school and was there for, maybe 3 years?
Yeah, then he went to LSU.
So if he was there 3 years, it's possible he got an undergraduate degree from there.
He's probably an alumni,
Yeah.
Michael Thomas of the Saints, of course. D'Angelo Russell, Greg Oden, and Ted Ginn Jr.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
There you go. That's quite a list. Yeah. I got to go to Columbus, Ohio one time. This is 12 years ago now. Yeah, 11, 12 years ago. It was a work thing back then. It was a trip. I had a conference going on that it was being hosted in Columbus, Ohio. And it's the first time I'd ever been there. It's the only time I've ever been there. I remember there was a golf event right outside of Columbus. And you mentioned Jack Nicklaus, Bill. So there's going to be a golf aficionado listening to this who could tell me the exact details. But I think, what's it called? Muirfield, which is where they host a PGA tournament. That's Jack Nicklaus's course right outside of that. But then there's one sort of adjacent to it that's like a lower level, more public course. And they had a golf event out there. And the other events we got to do, we had a dinner one night at the Horseshoe where Ohio State plays football. I'd never been to their stadium, and so got to see that. And that involved some pretty cool stuff like getting to meet and get an autograph with Archie Griffin, who you mentioned, former Heisman winner. We got to go down and walk around on the playing surface out there in the stadium. That was fun. And they had this guy painted shiny gold from head to toe, dressed up like the Heisman Trophy, the trophy. So he's a guy in an old-timey football uniform like the figure on the Heisman Trophy and painted gold from head to toe, and they called him the living Heisman. And Bill, apparently this guy, he's been doing it for years, he's entertainment around Ohio State games in that he's one of these guys that can pose like a statue and be perfectly still, and it looks like a statue. And people are always walking by and don't realize it's a real person until he starts to move a little bit, you know, and he'll reposition his pose. And that was pretty neat. And it got me when he was right by the entrance of this event. I'm just bebopping in. There's a big statue standing here. All of a sudden it reaches out and touches me. Kind of freaked me out a little bit. That was neat. And then we got to go to they've got a AAA minor league baseball organization there in Columbus. The AAA team of what used to be the Indians, now the Guardians. It was there. Got to see a little bit of a game and had a dinner there one night. Got to take some BP down on the field and all. But Columbus was a neat place. But I just remember, so two of the guys, we go to the golf course that was designed by Jack Nicklaus, one of the guys you mentioned. And the other one that you mentioned there, Archie Griffin, we got to shake his hand and take a picture and get an autograph. And anyway, it was a really neat thing. It's been so long ago. I don't remember any of the details. I don't even remember what we were there for. Some big conference. But Columbus was a nice place. Stadium was really cool. I mean, as you're standing down there on the field, you could really get an idea of why there's just an awesome game day atmosphere at Ohio State. So there you go. Team number 4. Good gracious alive, man. We started at 100, and we've now that we've done this, we started at 100. We now have 3 teams left. Wonder who those will be tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday. I wonder who those 3 teams will be. We could probably guess. Hey, I will give you a heads up. Coming up in hour 2, which is right around the corner, we're going to chat with Kyle Morris, former Florida quarterback, who's with Live Oaks Golf Course in the Jackson metro area. Talk a little bit about an all-day event going on Thursday at Live Oaks and chat a little football with Kyle. So I'm looking forward to that. And I do the list of some of the cuts that are happening out there in the NFL in order to get these teams down to a roster of 53. Those are continuing on. I'll give you some updates. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Hour 1 in the books. That means hour 2 in just a few. Stay with me.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country-pleasing sausage is outstanding, whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Divinity Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Like a good neighbor.